Today is April the 12th, 2021. This is the Service Hero Show, 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter, and I am your host. This is the show where we share inspiring stories of those that are inspiring others. So let's do this. Before we get going, actually, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Dr. Roy and Dr. Sophie Nabani for an award that was given to myself, but more than myself, to the teams that are serving those on the front lines that are dealing with cancer and COVID-19. Those people that are feeling isolated and alone. My teams, through the different brands that we have here at Chemo Buddies for Life, CB4L.org, The Service Hero Show, Tour of Love, and the others, are here to help those that are feeling isolated and alone. And we were nominated, and to our surprise, we were awarded this award. So in behalf of our teams that are here helping those that are facing cancer and COVID and those other health events that are changing your lives, this show, actually, as surprising as it may be, is absolutely in alignment. And our service hero today is someone else that's making a difference. So thank you, Dr. Roy, and thank you, the different people within the different lines that are here represented on the reward. So let's get going with you. We have today's service hero, yet I'm not the one that's going to introduce her. We have someone else that is here that is going to introduce the person that nominated our service hero.
Hello, my name is Michelle Moross, and I am the one who nominated my friend Gigi Sabbat. Why? Because she does so much for the community around the globe, actually. I met her on a sexual assault panel, and then I also was on her panel for breast cancer survivors. And she's done so many different panels, bringing people together, getting the word out, and sharing stories and experiences that we don't normally talk about in public. And so I find her so amazing. And well, she is amazing. When you hear about her, when you talk to her, when you see the talk today and learn more about her, her 2 books and what she does for her communities and how she has come from a past that could have crushed her, but yet here she is making a difference in the world. So please welcome my friend, Gigi Sabbat.
I want to thank Michelle Moross for introducing and nominating today's service hero. Gigi, welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today, Tamara, and I truly appreciate Michelle for nominating me on your show as well. I was not expecting that video. Oh my goodness, it's rare that I ever get emotional, but that video got me emotional.
You deserve to be honored. And in truth, when I was thanking Dr. Roy and Dr. Sophie Nabani for the highlight, the shining of the light on the work that our organizations are doing on the front line to help make a difference during this pandemic that we've been in, COVID-19, and for those that have different health changing events in their lives, such as cancer. Yet you are on the front lines. You are out there doing all of this. We are celebrating you, and how amazing that, after I brought that up, and here you are, someone that is making a difference in the world. You're doing it in a very unique way, and we're going to go into that. However, before we do, what I want to do is recognize those that are showing up to the show. We love it. We love our supporters. We love those that are ready to be inspired by Gigi. And Helene Wilson, thank you. Hello. Love seeing you. And Caroline Berzins, the production assistant for this show and senior ambassador of the Buddies, cb4l.org. And we want to let everybody know that we are live on the E360 TV platforms. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to show you. And in fact, how you yourself can follow the show and many others worth watching. We want to recognize Jason. Jason, so happy that you're with us. Nori Love, happy to see you, my dear. One of our service heroes. Kelly Ann Collins, another hero, is here with us. Hello, my dear. Happy you're here with us to hear this message. Gigi, you are amazing, and you are a survivor. How many times over? Oh my.
I'm a survivor of sexual assault. It happened twice in my life. It happened when I was a child, and then it happened again as an adult. And then I'm also a survivor of domestic violence.
Mm-hmm. And your philosophy is what?
To never give up, no matter what. Get back up and keep up the good fight. Keep up the good fight and keep your faith.
Uh-huh. And you put your muscle where your mouth is, don't you? In fact, you do it with a book, with a podcast, with panels of experts from around the world. What gave you the idea, walk with me, walk with me, walk with purpose, God first? What is your inspiration there? I mean, beyond, of course, the obvious, but let's get into it deeper.
Yes, ma'am. So I'll backtrack here a little bit, and I'll tell you that 2 years ago, I almost lost my life. And I will tell you this, I was in law school at the time. And while in law school, I became the Student Bar Association president, which means I oversaw all the organizations in the law school. And at the same time, I was the residential manager for the Human Development Center, which means I work with clients with mental health issues and disabilities. So I was very busy at the time, very productive. But I'll never forget one day my life transformed forever. When I got the shock of my life, I had just got done studying. And then I was on the phone call with a colleague from the Student Bar Association. And the abuser charged at me, beat me, almost strangled me to death, threw my phone across the room. And I'll never forget when I tried to get back up, I fell flat like a vegetable. And at the time, I didn't understand why, but the domestic violence advocates told me it's because I lost oxygen to the brain. So the fact that I'm still here and I'm able to utilize my skills and my knowledge, I'm truly grateful. And since then, I got baptized again as an adult, and my relationship with God has grown tremendously since then as well. And mind you, I was already baptized as a child, but I got baptized again as an adult. And as a child, I read the Bible, but again, as an adult, I reread it after everything that occurred. And literally, I understood God's purpose for my life. I stepped into his purpose for my life because I understand it to the fullest extent, which is to serve his people on this new spiritual platform. So you asked about the titles of my books and how did they come about? Walk with me, God first. Literally, it is God who directed me to come up with these names. Walk with me, God first. It's a sequence. So walk with me is all about helping others to understand the importance of never giving up, no matter what trials or tribulations you're faced with in your life. Get back up and keep fighting, no matter what. It is possible. And then God first is all about raising awareness about the importance of having God first place in our lives. We would not have all the issues that we have in society if people were to keep God in his proper place, which is first.
Wow. I'm 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 soaking what you're saying in, and I hope that those that are watching the show right now are too. And in fact, I'd love to hear comments in regards to what your thoughts are, because right now in this time, this day and age, 2021, as I stated in the very beginning of the show, we are right now. Can you believe we're in the middle of April? A year into a pandemic. Some areas in the world are opening up, yes. However, there are other areas in the world that have closed in on themselves, that are still in lockdown. There are so many people that right now, a lot of them women, a lot of them children, men too, that are facing the kind of abuse that you were just mentioning, and it may not be from a stranger, it may be someone that they know. There are many people that are struggling in a lot of other areas also. And your words, get up, get back up, and to find that belief within themselves and with whatever belief system will be theirs. In yours, you're sharing that you recommitted your life and a focus in your life to then go out and serve as you feel now called to do. Correct?
That is correct. And you talk about the panels that I'm hosting now. And the first panel I hosted was the global virtual panel of domestic violence survivors. That is because God commanded me to host that event. And so I did. Again, I understand his purpose for my life, which is to serve his people on this new spiritual platform. And so I stepped into it. And so we brought expert leaders from all over the world, which included both men and women, to really educate others about what domestic violence truly is and how it is not just physical. Domestic violence is also emotional, mental, financial, and then there's PTSD tied to it. And a lot of times people don't understand that it does happen to men, because a lot of times in our community, it's only taught that this is happening to women, but that's not the case. We had a gentleman on our panel that spoke, and he actually lost a part of his eyesight because of the abuse. So I mean, these are the stories that need to come forward so people are aware that this does happen to men and it happens to women.
Exactly. And so here is Walk With Me, the global virtual panel of domestic violence survivors. Guys, look at this. I'm going to take this down right here. Those circles, those faces, all represent strength, stories, survival, overcoming, and now helping others to be inspired to go forward, right?
That is correct. That is correct. Each of their stories are truly unique. Each of their stories. I look at those photos now. I mean, I haven't looked at the photos since, like this, right in my face. And as I'm looking now, I'm seeing each of their stories, and it's so unique. It's so powerful. I have chills right now as we're speaking.
I do too, truthfully, because when you understand, like what we're doing right now, we're sharing your story right now, your story, a story of survival. When I think of you in college, and I think of you there on a couch, on a phone, having a phone, and then I think of you on the floor, not able to really even get up and move, not having your phone right there, it was thrown across the way. I right now want to tear up thinking, putting, when you think about what that would feel like. I mean, guys, really, what would that feel like? You had no idea this is coming. You're very focused on what you're working on. And then boom, in a moment, everything stops, everything changes, and you can't breathe. You can barely. How did you get help? How did you survive your violence? The violence that that you endured in that moment? How did you survive it? What were your next steps?
Help from my community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the domestic violence advocates that I worked with at the time were so helpful and so supportive, as well as my family and friends. So I look back today and I'm just grateful. And I'm a person who's always given back, but I also give back now more than ever in the domestic violence realm as well, in the survivor realm, because I understand individuals' pain. I understand what it's like, especially now having gone through everything that I went through. I understand it like never before. So I want to give back, and I want to help others understand that they too can overcome not just domestic violence, but you can overcome anything in your life. And again, God had a tremendous role in my overcoming the abuse. He had such a tremendous role. You know, Joshua 1:9 states, haven't I commanded you, be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid or discouraged, for your Lord, your God is with you wherever you go. Therefore, you're not alone. God is with you wherever you go. Keep fighting and understand that God has if you're listening to this today, God has a purpose for your life. God is the creator of all things. We are the children of God. He created you for a purpose. Your life has a purpose. And sometimes we can create all the plans that we want. But if there's a detour or a delay in our plans, understand that it's happening for a reason, not for no reason. Because why? God knows the plans that he has for you. Get back up. Also, too, I was not aware at the time that strangulation is the number one cause of death in domestic violence relationships until after the fact. So today I raise awareness, educate others about that as well, because I was told that folks can die in their sleep the next day, a few weeks later, a few months later, because you don't know the damage that is done internally. So I was told you need to do x-rays ASAP. And so I did.
Good for you. Good for you. I've made it a little bit more. I've talked a little bit more on the show, and I've been coming out a little bit about my own history. And yes, I was a product of domestic violence. And yes, it seems to be a not so uncommon situation when you're, to be choked, to have that happen. Thank you for sharing that. I was not aware. I was not aware of the fact that there could be, I'm decades now out. However, I was not aware of the fact that there could be residual issues shortly thereafter, especially when sleeping. So we need to get this message out. Yes, we do. Now, you overcame, you graduated, you went on with your life. You did not let that attack define you. So you continue with your life. And then more happens, correct?
That's right. That's right. And here's the thing. So that's from the University of Central Florida. And I'm actually still finishing up my law degree. But here's the thing. I'm not going to be your typical attorney in a law firm. I'm literally going to have that legal background in my company now. So it's just going to be an additional hat that I wear, just like the financial hat that I wear. If a client I meet with needs assistance with finances, I will help them. I'll put that hat on. So I wear several hats is what I'm saying. And if need be, I will wear that legal hat. But right now, again, nothing is going to change, and nothing's going to change after I graduate. It's all going to continue in regards to me serving God's people on this new spiritual platform, because again, I understand his purpose for my life, which is to serve his people on this new spiritual platform he needs me to serve. And that's what I'm called to do. And that's what I'm doing. I've stepped into it to the fullest extent. Mind you, in regards to the sexual assault, I didn't know that it was going to happen again as an adult. Here's the thing. It happened when I was 8 years old. So if you're listening to this today, I took all the precautions that you could possibly think of. I did not think anything such as domestic violence or sexual assault would ever happen to me, especially with the amount of precautions that I took in my life. So you talk about after the domestic violence, and I went into full recovery. But then here's the thing. I was working with the company at the time, and we went on an annual retreat. And I said, you know what? I'm going to travel. I'm not going to just stay in a box. I'm going to live. Let me travel. So I traveled not thinking something was going to happen. And something did happen. I was out with a group of individuals that I was with. No one I was directly with harmed me in any way, but it was a man who worked for the company, but from a different state. He took me and he sexually assaulted me. And I did not see that coming ever again in my life, but it happened. And so it was as though I got knocked down with two things. But you know what? As I mentioned, I got back up because I understand God is with me wherever I go. And I understand his purpose for my life. So there's no way I'm staying down. I kept going no matter what. And understand this, if you're listening to this today, keep going no matter what.
Exactly. So you then have taken this message and you are everywhere. You're a speaker, you're a writer, you have a podcast, you're a host of panels that have really meaty, if you will, hard subject matter, yet always has the hope built in, has the tools to learn, has the inspirational stories to say, I too can survive. If that person was able to survive, if that person was able to conquer this, if that person was able to turn their life around here, I can do it too. And you are sharing these stories. There's one, I want to share a clip of something that you were up on stage and you were sharing about inner beauty. I love this. Look at the energy that this woman presents with.
Now, God first. It is important now more than ever to have God first place in our lives. God is our creator. We are the children of God. We are beautiful because of God. All of you are beautiful. You have beauty within you. Again, you just need to find it.
I love that. You need to find it. So you help them, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Beauty is truly within you. So I was a speaker at Daniel Gomez and Mari Gomez's Finding Your Inner Beauty Women's Conference last year. And that's what I spoke about, really to help individuals understand that it is truly within you. It is in you, that beauty. Remember, you are the children of God. You are beautiful. If you're listening to this today, write this down. You are beautiful, and the beauty is within you. And I was actually asked by Daniel Gomez and Mari Gomez to speak as the keynote speaker this year at their Finding Your Inner Beauty Women's Conference. And I'm truly honored.
One of the speakers that was there with you at that conference has a message.
Hi, this is Munira Zahabi, the Niche Navigator, coming to you live. I just wanted to endorse Gigi Sabbat for being a person of influence in my life and people everywhere, because she has overcome depression and abuse and taken a step into the world showing that you can still overcome all of these things and find your place on earth. And she's leaving a legacy by imprinting her thoughts, her experiences on other people, and sharing that with women, that you know what, it's not the end of the line. That line that you are standing on is the beginning. So let's begin to change our lives and the lives of people we love. Thank you, Manira from Chicagoland. Bye.
Making a difference. You're welcome. Making a difference. You, thank you. These are people that want to share messages of thank you, that you are out there being a true service hero. Here's another one right now. Dr. Randy Ward, service her herself, is such a strong lady, a true friend. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Randy Ward. We love you. And And many people that are of service, that are helping others, they come together. They come together to make a difference. And that's what you've been doing for putting these conferences together. And Kellyanne is sharing, truly amazing woman. Yes. And the story continues. So you have now shared how many panels, how many, if you would say, virtual summits?
I believe we're having 9 this year, including a Confident Women's Conference. And then we did 3 last year. So I too many to count at this point. Literally, I listened to God. I tuned in and he commanded me to host these panels. And I stepped into it and I'm just listening to him. That's it.
One of which, a really tough subject, and one that needs to be talked about, like all of these. Human trafficking. What would you say were some of the nuggets that came through to you from these amazing individuals that stepped up to talk about something that is truly relevant today?
Great question. So again, similar to domestic violence, it's only taught that human trafficking is only happening to women. That's not the case. We actually had a male come forward, Scott, who spoke on the panel, that it happened to him as well. And here's the thing. We're also finding that there's an issue in certain fields or industries that we need to have these discussions about this happening in certain facilities, because it starts with us as expert leaders or the survivors who have survived this to come forward and share their stories to really educate others about where this is happening and how we can intervene in a positive manner. And so that's what each of them did. They shared their unique story, and it is someone else's hope that they too can overcome, and that you don't have to hate that industry that did that to you, because there are some good individuals in that industry. They're not saying, hey, we hate everyone in it, but we are telling you to raise awareness that it is happening in certain industries. That's what they were saying. They were coming from a place of love on that panel when they shared their stories. That's what I'm thinking about as we speak about this right now. I mean, their stories were truly inspiring, but here's the thing. They are more than their stories. All of the survivors on that panel are more than their stories. They were there to educate individuals about human trafficking. And understand this, human trafficking is happening right here in our backyards. And people are not talking about it enough. It's not being taught in our education systems enough. And here's the thing, it will continue to happen unless we intervene in a positive manner. It starts with us coming forward in our society, in our community. If we know the signs to look out for, which a lot of the signs and the red flags were taught on our panel, then individuals can intervene. You will know if somebody's being human trafficked. Also, too, a great question that came in was, what if someone is stopped on the side of the road and you see someone may be a human trafficking victim? How do you approach that individual? And thank God we had investigator Chandra on there to talk about how to intervene in a positive manner. Rather than going up to the person and saying, hey, you're a victim, don't do that. Don't do that. Look for signs that that person may be a human trafficking victim instead. Do that instead. And these are the things that we need to be taught.
What kind of signs? I mean, I right now have my pen here. I want people watching in either live or replay to get our pens out right now, our paper, and let's find out right now what is it that, we would not want to do this because it could possibly put, I would think, the person in danger. What can we do?
Yes. So for instance, again, back to the stop on the road, look for those tattoos, see if they're stamped in any way. Those are some signs that you can look out for rather than approaching that person and saying, hey, are you a victim of human trafficking? You really have to be careful with your words is what we're finding as well. And just really too, again, we have to be cautious that this is happening to men and women. And we have to teach others that, again, it's happening here. Yes, in the US, human trafficking is happening here. Most likely it's happening in your backyard. And this is not to scare anyone, but this is the reality that we need to be aware, and we need to be educated, and we need to educate others that, yes, if you look it up and you search it, and I'm saying this in a very loving way, because you can find out where it's happening in your neighborhood. You just have to search for it, and you can find that information. And again, it starts with us doing so, because once you're aware, then you know what places to avoid. And you can also tell your neighbors, hey, maybe that park is not such a safe place to go to. Because again, it's happening in certain facilities as well. It's happening, we're finding, in hotels as well. So a lot of different places you have to look out for.
Hotels, parks. I know that when I was running for Impactor back a while ago, my team took on the Fusion Project. It's actually a nonprofit out of the greater Chicagoland area. And it focuses to educate young girls that are of junior high age of these type of things, how to be aware, how to know if they're being targeted, how to know all these different, plus other things, self-esteem and such, because of the fact that, there's a lot to this subject. And I know that on your panels, you go deep into it. Yet, when you're talking about in our backyard, I actually, for 31 days, Amy Morrison and I did public service announcements every morning, because we were on a campaign to educate that this is happening, like you're saying. And it is not just to adults. We need to wake up and understand it starts oftentimes even in our school system. It's online. It's so many different places. And so I know that we're talking about this a lot. However, this is something that you took on of one of these panels because you were feeling inspired that a difference can be made and that you can get up and get going. What would you like to say as we close this one topic?
Yes, I do want to share that, as you mentioned, it is happening to children. And I go back to Scott's story, the male who this happened to. Yes, human trafficking does happen to males as well. And he shared his story about how he was taken when he was very young by a pastor. So that goes back to the industries that I described. Yes, this can happen by a pastor as well. So you have to be cautious of these things and know what to look out for. And thank God Scott was able to escape from his abductor.
Yeah.
Thank God.
You know, one of the people on that panel I want to recognize is someone that does a lot of support and works with the nonprofit that this show supports, and her story truly incredible. Julie, also known as Juju Christopher. And I want to go into another area that you have really highlighted, because it really goes to those that watch this show. And we're going to transition with a song that actually Juju and someone by the name of Poe, also known as Skip Thomas, they sang together an original song written for the nonprofit that we support. Here it is.
Together we are stronger than sadness. Together we are stronger than cancer. Together we are stronger. We are one, we are love, we are hope, we are the ones to change the world with our hearts. We are one, we are love, we are hope, we are the ones to change the world with our hearts. Human hope, hearts, hearts, love, love, love. Human hope, hearts, hearts, love, love, love. Human hope, hearts, hearts, love, love, love. Human hope, hearts, hearts, love. We are one. We are love. We are hope. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts. We are one. We are love. We are hope. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts.
When you see something like this, and I want to recognize that Julie Christopher, also known as Juju, Crystal Richardson, and actually myself, wrote that song. That's a portion of it for the nonprofit and the Tour of Love, which supports the nonprofit also. And to know that Juju was on the panel, that we were just talking about that subject. And when you know her story, you understand what she went through. And to see that she was one of the ones that wrote that song, We Are the Ones to Change the World with Our Hearts, doesn't that give so much humor, hope, heart hugs, and a whole lot of love? Right?
Yes, ma'am. So folks know that they're not alone, that they are supported in our community. And now more than ever, individuals need to know that they're not alone. I mean, you talk about where we are now in society. Community is everything.
Very well said. So you help to promote community through these different platforms. You mentioned your business. You mentioned that you have the 1 degree and that you're continuing the other, and so that you have your JD, you have your law degree. You also have a background in financial understanding and literacy. Thus, you were with Chris, Service Hero, also amazing man. Anybody that knows his platform knows that he knows his stuff when it comes to finances, all things financial. And the panel here, you see a lot of people that know what they're talking about. Business acceleration. You were there. You were one of the speakers. That is where you are helping a lot of people right now, and it is extremely needed. Right?
Yes, ma'am. And I just want to point out, I haven't finished the law degree yet, but I am finishing it. And once I finish it, it's just going to be another hat that I wear in my company. Again, I just love helping others. And yes, finances is also an aspect that I help individuals with. I provide a comprehensive financial plan, and I provide WFG's products. So yes, I am an agent for World Financial Group, and I love it. I love helping people with their finances. I do have my 215 license for the state of Florida in life, health, and annuities. And yes, Chris Noggle is absolutely amazing. We did share the stage. He's amazing.
Yeah, rock star. I actually was on one of his teams at the the 10X event that was in Phoenix, Arizona, and Grant Cardone event. And but I was on team Chris Noggle, and so we were there to support him and help do stream live and all those neat things. And I love it when people with heart and passion, a purpose and story will then take something practical out and give nuggets on how to make life better with fun stuff. I mean, this guy had a TV show and he was like a rock star athlete, you know, and did all the, yeah, he could come across as the biggest, like, financial, I don't want to say nerd, but, you know, he knows his stuff. That's what makes it fun. That's what you are, my dear Gigi. You are making it fun to want to show up and then help people to say, I can show up to my life. May seem a little difficult, yet we are the ones. We are stronger together. We are sharing humor, hope, heart hugs, whole lot of love. We are sharing nuggets of information that will make a difference in the life of ourself, our family, community, world.
Amen.
How does that feel?
It feels as though we are God's servants. And it feels as though now more than ever, individuals are coming forward into their service as servants, and understanding it is what I'm saying. They may have been in it, but understanding it to the fullest extent that they are servants of God. And I love all the individuals that you've shown me today because they are dear to my heart. Chris, Juju, each and every one of them, Michelle, Minera, thank you for sharing that. It's just, they are a blessing to this world as well.
We have one of your clips I want to share. Guys, get ready. Put your seatbelts on. We are going to see amazing energy coming through with a message.
I will not give up on my dreams. You are one of a kind. I understand what it's like to struggle with your finances, battle with your challenges, battle with your fear. I've been there. But I transformed my life by setting clear and measurable goals.
She was succinct, direct, and so inspiring.
Never give up. The light may seem dim right now, but once you wake up your mind's reticular activating system, you must always take the first step towards reaching your goals. Never give up.
Never give up. Never give up. And I know that there are some that are saying, oh yeah, that's not a big deal. We know that. Never give up. You've heard it from people throughout the history of the world. You know, you can look at different times and people will say, yes, you know, like, you know, during this or that. And the leaders are like, we will not give up. We will never, ever, ever give up all of this until you're in the middle of the darkness. Do you really get why that is so important? Because some people are like, yeah, I know, never give up. I show up. I don't give up. When life feels like it is maybe your feet are in cement, you had the blinders on, you don't know which way is forward, you don't know if you're going to make it through the day, you just don't know. That's when you need to understand, right? And pull from the toes, the tip of your toes, that's when it really means something, right?
That's right. That's right. No matter what, you know, Mel Robbins talks about you have a 5-second window to really shift your mindset. So you have a decision to make. Are you going to be in a negative mindset or a positive mindset? And again, you have a 5-second window to do so. You really have to shift your mindset. Otherwise, you will stay down. If you're listening to this today, you need to get back up and keep up the good fight. God has a purpose for your life.
Exactly. Now, there is another clip that is similar, yet it has a different person talking. And I want to give kudos to this person. So we are going to share this one too. Guys, seatbelts on again.
Massive transformation start when you take action. Because without action, you have nothing. Therefore, you must always take the first step towards reaching your goals. Now, I understand many individuals like you struggle with certain goals and setting goals and measurable goals. Therefore, I assist Christians with achieving their goals.
I got the greatest privilege to listen to Gigi speak. And when she speaks, we listen and learn so much.
I understand what it's like to struggle with battle with anxiety, battle with your challenges, battle with your fear. I've been there. But I transform my life by setting clear and measurable goals.
And I want to say shout out to Lindy Eldridge. And it just so happens that the podcast I was on with her went live today. So guys, go check it out. I'll say that. And amazing, energetic woman, Lindy Eldridge. You're visiting on stage, your speech, your presence, your message of that you help people, and the fact of clear and measurable goals. I want to go there now as we start to get this wrapped up, because we can leave nuggets with those that are here with us in the fact that people understand goals, but they don't understand clear and measurable goals. What's the difference?
There's a huge difference. Great question. Here's the thing. If you take out a piece of paper, for example, if I were to tell you, write down your goals, what would you write? And understand this, you have to make sure you know what you want to achieve. And you have to understand it to the fullest extent. It's similar to a Google search. You go in and you put in Google what you're looking for. If you're not specific and clear, what do you get? You get the exact opposite of what you want on the Google search. But when you're clear and specific and you know what you want, it will pop up exactly what you're looking for. So if you're writing down that goal right now, make sure it's clear and it's measurable and reasonable. Don't say, and measurable means that you're able to achieve it in a specific amount of time. Don't say, hey, I want to reach this goal and it's not realistic. Let's be realistic here. How many times have you heard someone say, hey, I have this goal and I want to achieve it, but they weren't realistic and they didn't set a measurable goal. It has to be measurable so that you can achieve it. And once you achieve that goal, don't stop there. A lot of people say, oh, well, I achieved this goal. Now my life is over. I learned enough. No, always a student first and foremost. Write that down. Always a student first and foremost, no matter what. I don't care how much education you have, how many trainings you've been to, how many workshops you've been to. Always a student first and foremost. Keep that hat on and continue to learn, because when you continue to learn, you continue to grow. Growth is truly the beauty of life. Don't remain stagnant. Don't shut out learning. Continue to grow.
Very solid advice. Solid words of wisdom from a service hero. I wrote them down. Did you? As we start to close, you have more summits coming up, more panels of experts. What type of panels are you going to be finishing out 2021 and going into 2022 with?
Yes, ma'am. So this Friday, we have the Global Virtual Panel of Infertility Survivors event. That's at 5 p.m. on April 16th. And then we have the Leadership Conference. That's on May 15th at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern. And then we have the Global Virtual Panel of Infidelity Survivors. And that's on June 4th at 5 p.m. And then we have the Global Virtual Panel of Recovering Alcoholics. And that's on June 18th at 5 p.m. And then we have the Business Conference on November 20th at 10 a.m. All of these topics are very important, and we need to raise awareness and educate others about each topic. Let's backtrack here a little bit. Let's talk about infertility. It's so important because there's such a difference between infertility, stillbirths, and so much more that we need to differentiate the two. Hence why we're actually having a panel in 2022 as well. But we'll get to that later on. But we really need to talk about these topics and really educate others about it. So that's why this is important. And then 2, the leadership conference. Our world is changing. Leadership, as we know it, is changing. We need to understand that, and we need to educate others about what leadership truly is and how they need to understand it in this world, in this day and age, in the 21st century, and how we need to be ready for what's coming, because there's going to be a massive wave coming in regards to leadership. I mean, look at what COVID did. COVID caused a lot of business owners to pivot. I can't tell you how many times I came across business owners who said, hey, this is it. COVID happened now. My business is over. I lost my business. I shut my business. No, we need to have positive self-talk and positive talk. And we need to bring that not just in our personal lives, but in our business. And so then I came across those business owners who said, oh, COVID happened. Okay, let me pivot. I'm ready to pivot so that COVID can't affect my business. So it's really about the mindset. You need to be able to have a resilient mindset, which means that no matter what happens, no matter what trials, tribulations, challenges in your personal life, in your business that happens, you need to be able to bounce back, and you need to be able to bounce back quickly. And yes, that means pivoting. When something happens, you need to be able to maintain that positive mindset and move forward no matter what, no matter what. So I just gave you 2 examples. There were the folks who said, COVID happened, this is it. Then there were those leaders who said, you know what, COVID happened. Okay, I found purpose in it. There is still hope. I'm pivoting. And they found that opportunity to really, really continue to grow. That's what I'm saying. So it's all about the mindset. So we really need to talk about leadership. That's why I'm doing the leadership conference as well. Then infidelity. Now more than ever, we need to talk about it. Why? It was brought to my attention that you talk about domestic violence, sexual assault, all these topics. There's a correlation here that's not being talked about. Infidelity. Infidelity apparently is now intertwined with these topics. But how come we don't know this? Because it's not taught in our education systems. So this is where these stories are so important. So if you're listening to this today, reserve your virtual seat. The tickets are available on Eventbrite. Reserve your virtual seat. This is an event you don't want to miss, because these are topics that are not discussed in our community. You won't get this education anywhere else, but it's happening. It's happening because we need to have this discussion on infidelity. And then recovering alcoholics. Such an important topic we need to talk about. Too many individuals are afraid because of the stigma that's tied about having this discussion. But no. We need to have this discussion about recovering alcoholics, because it starts with those who are recovering to really help others understand that they too can overcome. If they say, okay, for example, Sally or Bob is recovering, I can recover too. So they are someone else's hope. So tune into that as well, because in this day and age, we need to talk about it. You talk about all the topics we just talked about, domestic violence, sexual assault. There's also a correlation. There's also a correlation there.
Yes, there is.
There is. Yes. If somebody has an incident like that has happened in their lives, what do? They turn to alcohol, or they turn to drugs. But why aren't we learning about this? Because it's not taught in our education systems. So these individuals are coming forward, but understand this. They are more than their stories. They are ready to educate others about the topic of recovering alcoholics, to help others understand they too can overcome. And then lastly, talk about the business conference that we're having. I go back to what I mentioned in regards to leadership, but there's a huge difference. You talk about leadership, but then you talk about business. We need to talk about business and the dynamic of business and how we're doing business in our society. Because why? Business is changing.
Yes, it is.
So, for instance, a lot of individuals say, oh, well, COVID is going away. Went away. No, COVID is still here. People are still dying. So the reality is we need to understand, we need to be ready, because why? We are now in a virtual world as well. So we need to be able to do business virtually as well. When COVID happened, here's the thing. I too saw, okay, wait a minute. COVID happened. I was just about to host an in-person event. Does that mean that I stop hosting my events? No, I learned how to do it virtually so that I can still make sure that this message gets out there so we can help as many people as we can. But understand this, I'm not alone. I come with my team. And I am truly grateful for the folks that are sponsoring these events to really push the awareness out there about these various topics and educate others about these topics. And then I'm so grateful for the speakers as well to really educate others about this. So important.
So important. I completely concur. And you taught me something, and I want to say thank you for all the comments. And please hashtag live, hashtag replay. And I am with you, Camille, always learning. I learned something today, and a big, huge light bulb went on for me in regards to even my own life and my own journey. You are amazing, Gigi. You are truly a service hero. You are out there in the trenches, making a difference on a daily basis, bringing out, information, education, pearls of wisdom, inspiration, and hope to so many that need it. Your belief system and in sharing it so out there is going to inspire others to do so too. You are making a difference on a global level. I have only a minute left that we can have you share. What nugget would you like to leave everybody with?
I want to tell you to never give up. Again, no matter what happens in your life, maintain a resilient mindset. And why do I say maintain? Because here's the thing. I can tell you, have a resilient mindset. But what's going to happen? I have to be real here. I have to keep it real. And here's the thing. Challenges will occur in your life. I'm not going to tell you that they're not, because that's not true. Challenges will occur in your life. Trials and tribulations will occur. There will be things that happen that are unexpected that you never saw coming. I just gave you a few examples of my own that happened in my life, such as domestic violence and sexual assault. But does that mean that you give up? No, you keep going no matter what. Keep going and maintain that resilient mindset. You need to be able to shift from a negative mindset to a positive mindset, but then you also need to be able to maintain a resilient mindset in your personal life and in your business.
Excellent. Well said. Well said. And I want to also leave anybody that has been watching this, and if you know of someone, because the cause and effect, many people, unfortunately, do need a buddy at some point. They have heard those 3 words, you have cancer. So if you know of anybody that needs a buddy, we are here for them. And I want to really thank those that have been here participating in the show, commenting, and sharing your thoughts and your stories too. We will be back Wednesday with another inspiring story of those that are inspiring others. Gigi Sabbat, you are now officially a service hero. Thank you for serving so many.
Thank you.
Make it a great day, guys. Go out there and serve. And remember, we all have a service hero inside. Share yours with someone that needs to be served today. See you Wednesday.